Hello everyone, welcome back to Mentors Academy, and this is day 10 of our daily current affairs series relevant for UPSC, CSC, state PCS exams, CAPF, EPFO and all other competitive exams out there. So let's begin by answering yesterday's MCQs. The first question was, with reference to Public Safety Act of Jammu and Kashmir, consider the following. 1. It allows preventive detention without trial. 2. It can be applied for up to 2 years for security threats. 3. It is applicable throughout India. So which of the following are correct? 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3. So the correct answer to this question is option A, 1 and 2 only. Yes, it allows preventive detention without trial and can be applied for up to 2 years for security threats, and but it's not applicable throughout only Jammu and Kashmir, right? So the second question was, the Great Indian Bustard is primarily found in A. the Thar Desert regions, B. Nilgiri Hills, C. Sundarban mangroves, and D. Eastern Ghats. The correct answer to this question is option A, Thar Desert regions. This is a classic static question, so remember it's a critically endangered and mostly found in Rajasthan, right? So yeah, so now here are today's headlines in short. Let's go through today's key headlines. Radhakrishnan elected Vice President of India. Assam Cabinet okays new guidelines for expulsion of foreigners. Governors must act as true guides and philosophers to states, says CJI Gawai. Union government seeks factual report on forest rights complaint concerning Nicobar project. Rajasthan anti-conversion bill. Centre grants licenses to 5 firms to manufacture its first indigenous malaria vaccine. And the last article is, what was the Harappan language culture ministry to hold meet on the script, right? So let's just dive in. First article, an important one, is we've got a newly elected Vice President, Dr. Radhakrishnan, elected as India's 15th Vice President, defeating the opposition nominee with a 70% majority, right? So let's see some background here. CP Radhakrishnan, right? So yeah, the Vice President is elected under Article 66 by an electoral college of MPs, right? Member of Parliament. So he was the ex-officio. He is also the ex-officio chairman of Rajya Sabha, and under Article 65, he steps in as acting president when needed. So this role demands neutrality and discipline in parliamentary conduct. A key point for UPSC mains. Keep that in mind. So Radhakrishnan is a former diplomat and an academic. He emphasized federal cooperation and decorum in parliament. So this can be asked in prelims and mains, especially the articles and the powers involved and the process of election of a vice president, right? So yeah, let's move on to the next article, that is, Assam clears new SOP for foreigners expulsion. So the Assam cabinet has approved a new standard operating procedure under the Immigrants Expulsion from Assam Act 1950. So this act basically allows the state to expel foreigners without tribunal verdicts, right? So Assam faces persistent migration challenges and issues due to its porous border with Bangladesh, right? So normally foreigners tribunals under the Foreigners Act 1946 handles such citizenship disputes, right? So it has suspected foreigners get 10 days to prove citizenship. Like suspected foreigners have been given 10 days to prove their citizenship, and district magistrates can issue these expulsion orders, and SOP bypasses the tribunal delays for faster actions. So SOP here can bypass the tribunal delays for faster action. So this can be asked in prelims. You have to know the difference between the two acts mentioned above. For mains, focus on the citizenship verification and the federal powers, right? So yeah, moving on to the next article we have here is about governors. It's been in news since so long. So governors must be guides, not obstructors, says CGI, Chief Justice of India, Gawai. So our CGI Gawai has made a strong statement saying governors must act as facilitators but not political hurdles, right? So let's get into some background here. So under Article 200, governors can assent, withhold, and reserve bills, right? But delays, especially in the opposition ruled states, have triggered judicial scrutiny, right? So the Supreme Court is now examining what constitutes the reasonable time for assent. Timelines, it's in focus, right? So Kerala here has flagged pending for 8 bills pending for 7 to 23 months. The Supreme Court debates these timelines for assent, and the CJI, Chief Justice of India, here stresses constitutional morality and cooperative federalism, right? So Article 200 here is very important for prelims and executive discretion versus legislative autonomy for mains. So tell me in the comment section, should governors have a fixed time limit to assent bills? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below, right? So moving on to the next article, Centre seeks factual report on Nicobar forest rights. So the union government has sought a factual report on alleged violations of the Forest Rights Act 2006 in the Great Nicobar project. All right. So what is this Forest Rights Act? Here, Forest Right Act, it mandates Gram Sabha consent before diverting the forest land. So the 81,000 crore project includes a port, airport, and a township in an ecologically sensitive zone inhabited by Sompen tribes. Sompen tribes, important here, right? So the key point about this uh, article involve tribal council withdrew consent citing coercion. Tribal Council withdrew consent citing coercion. Forest Rights Act process skipped despite certification. 13,000 hectares has been diverted. Environment concerns have been raised here. So prelims focus should be on the FRA provisions, Forest Rights Act provisions, and tribal rights. The main relevance here is balancing tribal welfare with development imperatives and participatory governance, right? Yeah, so moving on to the next article, Rajasthan passes anti-conversion bill with life term. So Rajasthan has passed a stringent anti-conversion bill prescribing life imprisonment for mass or coercive conversions, right? So these laws aim to prevent conversions by force, fraud, or inducement. So critics argue they violate Article 25, that is freedom of religion. Several states have similar laws, right? So the key points include Ghar Vapasi, return to your ancestral faith is exempt here, and prior notice to DM is mandatory for voluntary conversions, and it raises concerns on religious freedom and state overreach, right? So the it's important, the Article 25 is important here for prelims, and it's a legal definitions. For mains, it's a debate between constitutional morality and legislative intent, right? Moving on to the next article, India licenses its first indigenous malaria vaccine. So ICMR, Indian Council for Medical Research, has licensed Adfalcivax, a very important term here, Adfalcivax malaria vaccine to 5 Indian firms, right? So malaria usually, let's see some data here. Malaria usually affects 5 million Indians annually. So here Alfalcivax is a recombinant multi-stage vaccine targeting Plasmodium falciparum. Right, this is the microorganism responsible for malaria. So it was developed by RMRC Bhubaneswar under the ICMR. Right, so it's stable at room temperature for 9+ months, licensed to Zydus Biological, E. Panacea Biotech, etc. And it also boosts India's vaccine self-reliance. These are the key points. regarding the article. And for prelims, know the vaccine types and institutions. For mains, you should focus on the public health innovation and indigenous research and development and disease control, right? So moving on to the next article, Culture Ministry hosts global meet to decipher Indus script. So the Archaeological Survey of India hosted a global conference to decode the Harappan, that is the Indus Valley script. It is still undeciphered after centuries, right? So the Indus script, Indus script. So the Indus Valley civilization reigns from 2600 to 1900 BC. It still remains undeciphered due to the lack of the bilingual text and the short inscriptions, right? So over 5,000 seals have been found. Hypotheses range from Dravidian to symbolic codes. The key points about this includes, so AI and computational linguistics have been used for should be are going to be used for decoding, and the focus is on seal patterns and trade inscriptions. Global scholars invited for collaborative research, right? So prelims, it's relevant. The timeline of the Indus Valley civilization is important, and the features of the Indus script. Um, so for mains, it's the role of technology in archaeological breakthroughs is very important, right? So I guess yeah, this is it. These are the key articles for today's news. Let's test your knowledge by seeing two MCQs. Which of the following constitutional articles allows the governor to reserve a bill for presidential consideration? 1. Article 200, Article 123, Article 110, and Article 72. So the next question is, the Forest Rights Act 2006 primarily aims to 1. Promote afforestation in tribal areas, provide forest land to private developers, recognize forest dwellers' rights over land and resources, and regulate mining in forest zones. So yes, so make sure to drop your answers in the comment section. We'll be checking them, and you'll find the answers to these questions in the next session, next current affairs session, that is tomorrow. So let's see two main questions for you to practice answer writing. 1. Discuss the constitutional and ethical dimensions of the governor's role in the legislative process with reference to recent judicial observations. 10 marker, 150 words question. The second question is, evaluate the significance of the Forest Rights Act 2006 in balancing tribal welfare and development imperatives in ecologically sensitive zones. Also a 10 marker, 150 words questions. Right, so yeah, that wraps up today's current affairs from Mentors Academy. So these updates are really relevant for UPSC, CSE, PCS exams, and all other competitive major competitive exams. So right, so if you found this session helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Mentors Academy. Please drop your answers and thoughts in the comment section, so would like to read them, and I'll see you tomorrow with more high impact current affairs updates. Keep revising, keep rising. So thank you so much for turning in today. Thank you and have a good day.